So, I've wanted to do a video on Grand Cross for the better part of a year, but life kept intervening when it came to all the weekly ideas I had. I didn't want the footage to go to waste though, and darn it, I still want to talk about it. So here we are. Seven Deadly Sins Grand Cross is a mobile game that was released in Japan and South Korea in June of 2019. It later came out globally in March of 2020. It quickly picked up steam, becoming a huge hit for the company behind it, Netmarble, and continues to put out new content weekly. And currently, it is my favorite mobile game, so I am going to talk about what makes it so appealing to me. And maybe if you've never gotten into it before, you'll give it a shot and have fun with it. Or you won't, but at least you'll understand why I like it. Before we get into it, here's a general disclaimer of sorts. You know, me saying yes, I know. This is a mobile game. There are pay-to-win features. All mobile games have these. And these gacha games are designed to prey on the serotonin your brain gets when you see the flashing lights as you do a pull, and maybe you want to shell out more, and... Gacha games are predatory. It's a whole thing. So this all comes with the caveat that yes, this is a gacha game. I do personally feel like you can have fun in this game without paying a dime. In the interest of full disclosure, I do buy a pass every month for $8 USD, but I like to consider that as server costs, and I put it down knowing that the game experience is ultimately finite. That said, let's talk about how the game works, what's good about it, what's not so good, and the category I have dubbed The game itself revolves around the fantasy manga Seven Deadly Sins by Suzuki Nakaba, and it's sort of a card-based game. You build teams of 3 characters, with 1 character on the backline. Each character has 2 types of cards they can use. Depending on the cards in your hand, you can even move them around to upgrade them and make them more powerful. Each card has its own effect. Some cards are pure attacks, while others can debuff other characters to impede them or allow you to inflict more damage. There are also cards which let you buff your team, boosting your own stats, as well as stance cards which draw fire and can sometimes even counterattack. Along with that, every character has their own passive ability from the get-go. You do have to do a trial to unlock it, but you don't need multiple copies or anything like other games. With the number of characters available, there are quite a few passives that work well in conjunction with one another. The general idea is that, as you play through the game, you find characters you enjoy and build up teams to utilize synergy and make them go brrrr. And there's a bunch of different characters, so the possibilities are honestly endless. The story itself follows Princess Elizabeth of Leonis, who seeks out the legendary criminals known as the Seven Deadly Sins, believing that they are the only ones who could save her father and the kingdom from grave peril. The first sin she encounters, Meliodas, isn't exactly what one would imagine a legendary criminal to be like, but he quickly forms a bond with her as they travel to regroup the sins and ultimately take back Leonis. It's a genuinely engaging fantasy manga that goes much, much deeper than that simple summary I just gave you. Yes, it has its moments, but I often describe it to friends as being deeply reminiscent of anime that I used to watch in the 90s, like old comfort food. The characterization is great, the lore is neat, and I honestly love the twists and turns that the story takes. Grand Cross generally follows the story of the anime to a T, which is in turn adapted from the manga. The only difference is, Grand Cross is animated so much better in parts. You see, starting with Season 3, which is Season 4 on Netflix, it's a whole thing, we're just calling it Season 3 here, the animation took a turn for the worse when the studio switched from A1 to Dean. It was bad. It was so bad. You've probably seen the screen caps. I'm happy to say that this isn't the case with Grand Cross. As a result, it's honestly the best way to experience Seasons 3 and 4. Naturally, mobile games need to expand the world if they want to thrive in the long term. Grand Cross did this by adding in the 7 catastrophes. Their story is basically this. Lilia, who was once one of the Sins' apprentices, has decided that the world is garbage and she's going to destroy it. Because of course she is. But she needs help with that, so she proceeds to summon people from other worlds in order to aid her in her cause. This idea is really great. It allows the game designers so much freedom when it comes to the catastrophes, designs, and kits. And they're not afraid to go balls to the wall weird when it comes to the different world stuff. Shin, for example, is a dungeon crawler / video game nerd, and they play on this when the game crossed over with King of Fighters. He basically screwed it all up and had to fix it using video game knowledge. But look, we all know why they're mostly women. And the thing is, the catastrophes, while being waifus in order to get people to open their wallets, are all genuinely compelling as characters. Listen, as a female gamer, I am super stoked to see messy women. Roxy is incredible as the group's messy as hell merc who just wants to wreck shop and drink. They're all well-rounded characters though, narratively speaking, and I kinda love it. In 2021, Grand Cross announced a new side story, Ragnarok. It would amount to about an anime season's worth of content when all was said and done, featuring a brand new story, new characters, and all new game modes. Ragnarok has single-handedly expanded the game's lifespan. The demonic beast battles and the relics one could craft from them helped upgrade a number of characters. The World Tree Tower offers another option for players looking to get resources. And in general, the story has been pretty fun, and the new characters are great. Brynhild is well-rounded, Magelda, Jormungand, and Thonar are a must for the demonic beast battles, and all of the ones released are generally pretty cool. There's also been Ragnarok variants for the Sins as well. As of writing this, there are roughly 5 chapters currently released. It's unknown how long it will go for, but it's clear Netmarble has some sort of map for it and knows where they're going with it. There are a wide variety of PvP combos that one could come up with. With the way the game is designed, players are encouraged to think about their team composition when it comes to PvP as well as the rest of the game. As a result, it's possible to see a number of different combinations. For example, Festival Elizabeth has amazing synergy with the rest of the Archangels. In fact, the whole Goddess team works wonders when it comes to getting big numbers on certain Knighthood bosses. The Bond team remains a menace in PvP, and currently, Festival Escanor can slot into a number of different team comps, with people consistently coming up with interesting ways to counter him. Yes, and there usually is a meta every time a new OP character is released, but you can usually counter that meta in a number of different ways. I will say that I personally wasn't a huge fan of the era when Purgatory Bond came out and everyone was running the exact same team, and therefore, PvP matches took forever. But that got balanced after a bit. It does at times become a game where the person with the higher combat class who therefore gets to go first wins. But I've out-CC'd people and still gotten clapped hard by good strategy. But also, I'm fairly casual when it comes to PvP, so, take that with a grain of salt. Netmarble is constantly revamping the game, looking for ways to improve the gameplay here and there. Initially, Hero's Way was a way to give players some goodies to help them along. In contrast, the upgraded Hero's Way gives out 12 different characters for free. Additionally, when you receive the character, they aren't just a level 1 SSR like they normally are when you pull them on a banner. They are at level 80 and are fully awakened UR, which is insane. To put this into perspective, that's this many resources that they just give to you. Here you go, this is yours now. Hero's Way is a sign that the devs are listening to the players and are doing their best to help the playing experience. 3 of the free characters are great for Belmoth, the level 90 raid demon that players will need to farm. 3 more of them make up a pretty solid early PvP team to help players rise in the ranks. And some of the others are just plain useful. It's a huge boon to the players. And it's something they've been doing a lot more of lately. It seems that at least 2 to 3 times a year now, Netmarble will run free banners with milestones which allow players to receive older characters at higher levels fully awakened. This year alone, we had the Diane free banner, the banner with free Fest characters, and the current one with some meta-relevant characters as well as an event that just straight up spits out level 90 fully awakened characters. I do wish they'd do something like Hero's Way where you could get characters like Magelda or Jormungand, but I also get why they don't just yet. They've got to make money somehow. Still, what they are doing is pretty generous. Yeah, the banner pools aren't that great for these free banners, but they're also free, and they're a huge help to newer players. So originally, the Training Grotto was this mode where you would do a few battle stages and then have to fight one of the parties that you used to clear one of the previous stages. The gimmick was that you couldn't use the same unit twice throughout your grotto run, so it encouraged you to build your parties out. And the whole fight one of your parties thing encouraged you to, not use your Unga Bunga Smash team, because then you'd get Unga Bunga smashed, potentially. It was a good way to get hammers to refine equipment and engraving stones for set equipment. It was also super tedious. They revamped it within the last year, and originally I said it was stupid. I said it was pointless. I was wrong, okay? See, if you do these missions, which in fairness can be super obnoxious at times, so I was sort of right, you can then auto-clear the stage. Ultimately, you could breeze through the grotto super quickly, doing 3 fights max on your own. But if you complete the missions, you also get rewards for it, including a gem for completing all of them. With 4 levels of difficulty per stage and 9 stages total, that's an extra 36 gems at the end of the day. It's a nice little incentive for something that will ultimately make the player's life easier, and it's another example of the devs trying to make the game better. As long as you aren't summoning on every single banner, you can get away with not spending a dime on this game. I have a free-to-play alt account that I've been idly playing for maybe 5 minutes a day for about 2 years, and it does better than my main in some instances. You do have to pick and choose your banners, and in some cases, hope you get incredibly lucky. But the game is predictable in terms of what banners will be when, so it is possible to plan accordingly. My favorite part of this game is playing dress up, okay? Yes, okay, it's geared towards making you spend your gems, but it's honestly fun and you get free ones, and I like making different combos. So the way the cosmetic system works is that you get an outfit, a weapon, and a cosmetic. Each character can equip 5 of these, and that will boost their stats, which will ultimately boost their combat class. This is important because in PvP, the higher combat class goes first. This also applies to a lot of PvE things. Therefore, the game is basically encouraging you to play dress up to your heart's content. These costumes can mostly be bought with gems, though they are for sale for actual real-world money for the first 2 weeks of a character's release. My favorite part is just going through and making different combinations. I love putting this stupid cat ear beanie on Sariel and then giving him that little blue skyfish hoodie. He looks so cool. I love him. And yeah, I had to pull on the Halloween Easton banner, even though she isn't very good. I had to do it just to get all her cute outfits and cosmetic items. I got like 4 of them. No regrets. I skipped the Merlin banner for this. Also, I think it might have been 5. After complaints from the community, the game revamped their monthly pass, which is known as the Hawk Pass. You don't have to pay for it, but if you do pay that $8 in USD, you can get more goodies. As you complete tasks on it, you earn mileage. Of course, paid users earn more mileage, but everyone can earn it and stack it up, using it to exchange for items in the loyalty shop such as emotes, an SSR ticket, or even past event cosmetics. You can also use mileage instead of gems to purchase special costumes for certain characters. The costumes are only in the shop for a limited time, but they have been rotating old ones back in, so it's not like they're gone forever. This ends up being a deal, honestly, since the full costume for a character would normally cost 90 gems. Controversial take, the demonic beast battles are fine. They are hard as hell, especially if you don't have particular units, but they are meant to make you think. Some balancing still needs to be done, but it's clear that they are thinking about it and making adjustments here and there. Aside from general gripes about rates and whatnot, the community just has fun. Whenever I stream on Twitch, I usually get at least a couple of randos that are genuinely nice and want to be helpful. There are, of course, some people who will spam that stupid Arthur emote in PvP, but there's also a very convenient button for you to turn emotes off so you never have to see them. For the most part, honestly, I've really enjoyed being a part of this community, and at the end of this video, I'm going to talk about some of the really good content creators that are constantly producing things for this game. Please check them out. Okay, let's talk about the not so good stuff, because I don't want this video making this game out to seem like flowers and puppies, and you get the idea. Everything has flaws and it's worth discussing them. The banners have been diluted. When it comes to the really hyped banners, the big festival ones, they'll sometimes put up to 25 SSR units on the banner. That's 24 units fighting for that 3.75% rate up, while the featured unit gets 0.25% rate up. You really don't want to chase units on these banners. This is a problem when some of the units will only show up on that particular type of banner, and those banners won't let you select that character instead at the end when you get to the pity. So if you weren't there to potentially pity the character before, good luck. In fairness, a lot of games just straight up throw their entire SSR pool into banners, regardless of how huge they are, so it is nice that Grand Cross actually does whittle down the pool and rotate it about. The problem is, it's been whittled down more in the past. It really needs to go back to doing this and rotating units in and out. But there's another issue with the banners. Look, like I said, it's good that they rotate characters. On the other hand, we have a tendency to see a lot of older units. I don't want to see green Escanor or blue Demon Meliodas for a long time, okay? It is good for newer players who haven't had the chance to get these units, but it's not balanced well when it feels like they're on every major banner. They also have a habit of putting coin shop units onto the banners. It's kind of nice at first because you don't have to spend the coins on them until they're basically on every big banner, and then not only are you getting dupes coming out of your ears that you can't use on the characters themselves, but the coin shop is now useless. At least they can be used for Super Awakening coins, but still. For example, on the one Ultimate banner, there are 26 units total, with 25 of them vying for that 3.75%. Additionally, 5 of those 25 units are from 2020, or even earlier if we take JPKR into account. That's nearly 20% of the pool. The game does a good job of giving out SSR tickets and offering opportunities to get older characters for free. They really need to stop diluting their pool with the older units. So, here's my recommendation for something like that Fest banner. Whittle it down to 5 Fest units, and no more than 15 units total. Look, you can even slide green Escanor into that last slot to be all cute with your "Oops, all Escanors" theme. To do some of the harder content, you need specific units. Megelda is a must for one of the demonic beast battles as an example, and she somehow kept matrix dodging me on every single banner. I was able to do some clears with other teams, but it didn't get consistent until I finally got her. Needless to say, when the units came for the other beasts, I made damn sure I got them one way or another. This is difficult endgame content, so it's understandable to an extent. It's just also really unfortunate when you skip the wrong banner and the gacha gods punish you for over half a year for it. Plan accordingly. Don't be like me. Also, she sucked on release, and I was valid in skipping her banner, but boy, did I pay for it. The original storyline Ragnarok hasn't seen much of the way in updates this year. However, we've gotten more main story updates, so it seems to balance out, generally speaking. It's a bit of a bummer though. I would have liked to see where Ragnarok's going, since it's a Grand Cross original, but we have no way of knowing for now. For what it's worth, there could be internal factors that we don't know about leading to Ragnarok's delays. For the main story, they don't really need any extra voiceover since they just use what was in the anime. But Ragnarok has all new voiceover for their cutscenes. I don't know how production is done on that, but I would speculate that they'd prepare several episodes in advance to get the voiceover for it, and then go from there. Personally, I don't think it's a case of they forgot about Ragnarok, but more production's gonna production, and it's easier to crank out main story chapters. And finally, I'm going to hit on some of the more common complaints here. They really don't bother me so much personally, but in the interest of fairness and not making a video that looks like I'm kissing Netmarble's ass, let's go through them. Banner rates. 3 to 4% rate up means that you will inevitably run into a super dead banner, which can be disappointing on some of the more loaded ones. Your mileage may vary. Endgame content is too hard and RNG heavy at times. To get really high up in PvP, you either need to be very lucky, or you need to wail. OC units are underwhelming. Patrol rewards are long overdue for a buff. A lot of rewards in general are long overdue for a buff. Labyrinth is wildly unbalanced, even for a new game mode. Simultaneous clear for higher level death matches is event limited currently. Fucking Reinhard. Special drops in places like the Training Grotto and Demonic Beast battles are way too low. Some units need to be 6/6 to get the most out of them, and they're rarely on banners. And many, many more that people will likely leave in the comments. And you know what? They're valid. So I recorded this video, and then the week that I went to edit the video, Netmarble pulled the move with the free Grimoire. 5-second description of what happened for those who don't know or who are watching this way later on. Basically, Netmarble gave out a free character with the one ultimate Escanor Festival, which was Grimoire, who was long overdue for a new unit. And he was okay, except his attacks scaled off of his defense, so he could become hideously broken if given time. And that was kind of cool, honestly. It mixed things up, and there were people coming up with some interesting teams with him. I easily cleared some reverse stages on my alt accounts with him in them. However, Netmarble went, oops, we didn't mean to do that. They changed the attack card to be scaling off of his attack, which is garbage, and they're giving out 100 free gems to say they're sorry. The issue is that because they let it go for so long, which, I mean, he was in the game for at least a couple weeks, technically, no one really got him until the second half of the festival. But it means that people put in resources and invested things like Super Awakening coins. I was going to, but I held back because I was lazy and working on this video. So I dodged a bullet, but I do have a lot of sympathy for people who did spend those resources and threw a lot of anvils on gear just to change it up. It stinks. I mean, I'm in a situation where I can go, that sucks, and then I move the gear back to Nalfumi and call it a day. And I also made sure to rush and get the reverse stages done with my other accounts before the nerf happened, but it still stinks, and it's not a good look. As of recording this particular part, they haven't said much more beyond that, but based on what they've done in the past, I'm hoping they'll say something else, but who knows? Honestly, they could also just be like, this is what we meant, goodbye. Anyway, quick update, because I'm still editing the video and things keep changing. They announced that they are giving out free materials to everyone to apologize for this Grimoire nerf, including fully upgraded and maxed out gear, SSR tickets, which is insane. So this is another example of Netmarble listening to complaints and adjusting accordingly. I'm pretty happy about it, and people online seem to be pretty happy about it. So thanks, Netmarble, and thanks to everyone who voiced their complaints. And now we get my super fun freewheeling section. Collabs are really cool. There are some unique units that get released, and a lot of thought gets put into the characters and their kits. It feels like the other series are really well represented, and Netmarble isn't afraid to go balls to the wall weird when it comes to, you know, who they collab with. They freaking collab with Stranger Things. I have Anime, Eleven, Hopper, Mike, and Will in my party now, and that's funny as hell. Are they useful? Anyway, all jokes aside, the collab characters are genuinely pretty useful in some circumstances. A lot of people are still using Kyo from the King of Fighters collab to cheese a lot of good PvE content, and he's pretty useful in PvP even now. There are some downsides to these collabs. Cosmetics are only for money, and good luck, because you're gonna spend a lot. And we're not going to talk about how much I spent during the ReZero collab because listen, I was sad. They were cute. Look at my fully decked out Amelia, and let's not talk about anything else, okay? This is the section though, because what was up with the Shield Hero collab? Normally, Netmarble will go all in with these Grand Cross crossovers, and they'll do a special story with them to justify it. Sometimes they're kind of phoning it in, like the Stranger Things one wasn't very good, to be honest. The best part about that one was seeing the real people react to this freaking fantasy manga. However, the King of Fighters one remains the best collaboration, and I will fight people on that one. I will fight you in the comments. Okay, I won't actually fight you in the comments, but please, it was really good. It showcased the catastrophes, and it let Shin be a freaking loser. It also had the Sins participate in a way that mattered, and it wove the collab characters in seamlessly. It was just fun. And the tournament mode was absolute fire. I hope they bring it back soon, and not just because I want more copies of Kyo. But the Shield Hero one didn't even have a story. there weren't even Awakening Trial stories. So it makes you wonder, what happened? Did Netmarble not have the time to put together a story? Or was it something like the contract said they couldn't actually make a story or whatever? They could just use the characters and that's it. It's a little weird and a bit of a bummer, to be honest. But on the other hand, it was nice that they tried to do a new collab after having 3 reruns in a row between King of Fighters, Slime, and ReZero. That's why this whole section is in the Collabs can be fun, but they can also be... I don't know, man. I don't know. I got to save gems during the Shield Hero one at least. That was cool. I liked that. Content creators. There are some really good ones, and they are going to be linked in the video description, but I just wanted to go over real quick some really good people who are making some great content for this game. Nagato is probably the most well known for Grand Cross. He plays on JP, so he's great for giving global players a heads up on what's going on, and he's really good at messing around with teams and combinations and kind of figuring out things so that you know what to try when it comes to global. He's got a great sense of humor too. He's a lot of fun. Nailid has a lot of great general info, and he focuses on global. I'd say he's honestly my go-to when it comes for global stuff. He has a lot of love for the game, but he's also fair in terms of his criticism, and in general, he just wants to have fun. Marili and Chixua are also really good in terms of people who play on JP and Global respectively, and they work on team building and whatnot. Chixua is really great when it comes to different knighthood boss teams, and I really like Marili's sense of humor. He's just fun. He's just having fun. I love the guy, he's so cool. Gamer Masala is also great when it comes to different team comps, especially for things like Demonic Beast Battle. I could not have gotten through my sad, lonely No Miguel to Hell without this guy's recommendations. They rule. Thank you, dude. And that's it. That's my big Grand Cross video. I don't know if I'm going to actually make any more Grand Cross videos, if only because I don't know when I'll be able to make my next video. As you can tell, I seem to crawl out of my cave once every 6 months to make something. Oh, adult life and actual responsibility. But I would like to, so I'm hoping I can come back and maybe talk about some lesser used characters, things like that, you know, just having fun. I've got a couple friends that play the game that are interested in helping me test out teams, and I do have some well-built alt accounts that are kind of insane, so that might happen. Or I could totally forget about it and decide to go back to playing Pokemon for God knows how long. Who knows? In any case, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you do play, let me know what off-meta character you like to use. You know, things like, do we have any Easton heads out there? Come on, my Easton heads, show up for me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed a video of me not shitting on Bamco for 30+ minutes. It's me being normal.